Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. Today I will be making some Valentine's cards and I will be doing actually 6 of them, but in this video today I will be doing only 3. I'm using this Strathmore Vision watercolor paper, and also we will be using this cardboard for the cards that I bought, but you can use any cardboard that you have, a little bit thinner, maybe crafting cardboard. And also I'll be using my watercolors set called Sky, this Van Gogh watercolors. These are metallic watercolors and all the materials will be listed in the description box, so you can check them all out there. And for the brushes, I will be using smaller round brush number 8 by Raphael and also number 2 by Dainayw. This is a mop brush. I will also use masking tape and some paper. This is paper for stickers, and you can very easily remove masking tape from it. So first I'm starting with pre-wetting the paper for the first card. I did not stretch my paper and glue my card onto the board, so it will warp to somewhat degree. And if you want to prevent that, you can just glue it on your table or just a board. And I did pick up a little bit of the excess water from the paper, because this is a cellulose watercolor paper, it doesn't soak water so much, so I did just pick up that top layer just to remove puddles from the paper. As I said, I'm using my own watercolors from the Sky set, and first I'm starting with pink and this violet color. So I'm just adding those randomly. I did wet my paper, so colors are bleeding and blending one into each other. Also a little bit of the turquoise. Colors are definitely optional. You can use any colors you like. So these are actually quite nice matching together, so I chose those. Also a little bit of the yellow, some splatters, and they will just bleed and blend into each other, all of those colors. Splattering a little bit more saturated paint. And just a couple of splatters with just a clean water to create nicer textures. And if you have the patience, just leave that on the side to dry itself. It will be a nicer effect. I did dry it with hair dryer, so the effect did get lost to some degree. So I'm splattering on a dry paper right now. Again, that violet color. A little bit watered down paint, a little bit more saturated paint. And again, I will dry that. After this is again dry, I will put it aside and glue masking tape on top of that paper, as I said, sticker paper, to cut out of it some hearts, to use it as I guess for masking those hearts, so I can paint around it. You can of course use masking fluid if that's what you have and prefer. And I will just fold it into half and just draw one side of the heart, and it will make it easier for me to make a symmetrical heart. That's also how you can make anything symmetrical. Just fold your paper, draw one side, cut it, and when you of course open it, it will be symmetrical. So yeah, that's the first one, quite nice. And same way I will do the rest of them. I will be making actually 4 hearts. Some are going to be a little bit bigger and some are going to be a little bit smaller. So like that. And the last one. I do like to mask my simple shapes like that using a masking tape rather than using a masking fluid. it is cheaper and faster. So now I will just glue that on top of my papers. You have to make sure that your paper and watercolors are very, very dry. They have to be totally dry. Otherwise, the masking tape won't really stick on top of the paper and it will bleed inside. That's something that's gonna happen to me. You will see I did not dry it fully. It wasn't completely dry and completely cooled down, so I will have some bleeds inside, but actually when I did remove it, it looked quite nice, so I didn't mind that effect. Now I have picked up bronze from the Van Gogh watercolor set, metallic set, and I'm just adding it around my hearts. I did not wet the paper this time, just adding it on the dry paper. I'm using this larger, again, mauve brush that can hold quite amount of the water, so I'm just wetting it as I go. I did not want to pre-wet it because I knew I would just move the paint around and lift it up from the paper, and that's not really what I wanted. So you can see that my tape is, well, actually not really glued quite hard enough, so it's getting up and it's not really sticking to the paper, but as I said, I didn't mind the effect later on. Also, I will add a little bit more of the violet I used earlier, go around my hearts, tapping with the tip of my brush, not fussing too much on paper. I don't want to lift, again, as I said, the previous layer, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more of the splatters with violet. Picked up the paint straight from the pan, and also I will do a couple of more splatters with that bronze color, metallic, and then dry it all with a hair dryer. And you can see how when you're using a hair dryer, it's actually, colors are getting a little bit more duller and the effect is gone. So if you leave it to dry naturally, I do believe you will have a nicer effect and splatters, but I just didn't want to wait for that. Picking up what was left wet underneath my masking tape, and as I said, I really actually liked how it looked in the end, so I didn't mind that it's just bled underneath the masking tape. I will be using this Etchr graphite pen, ink pen. This is number 08 to do the lines and my inking around the hearts. So I'm gonna do a couple of lines, couple of, I guess, those borders around my heart. Not gonna be too careful to go exactly around the heart. I'm gonna go outside, inside. It's gonna look a little bit more looser, and I believe for me it's nicer that way. So just adding those lines, and also I will add some strings going from those hearts, looking like they're balloon hearts. Maybe gonna do that for all of them. Some couple of wiggly lines, and I do want to write in some text, so here I will just write in "love you," and I'm trying to make it all connected, like looking like it's from one string. And I do want to add a couple of more splatters, this time on dry paper, just with a little bit more saturated paint. And also I do want to add a bit more detail, some paint again just on the right side of my hearts to make them stand out a little bit more. So we're done now with the first one. I'm gonna put that aside and move on to the second one. And for the second one, again, I'm wetting paper. As I said previously, you can stretch your paper if you don't like, if it warps too much, you can just stretch it. Again, picking up that excess water, I'm just tapping it very, very lightly. You can see that my paper is still wet, but I don't have the puddles on top. So colors just get in, soak in paper a little bit better. Splattering, again, same colors. I'm using violet, pink, some turquoise, and picking up again that violet. And on wet paper, I'm just painting in those hearts. They will bleed, of course, but that's what I really do want here. I want them to bleed. Since I've picked up the excess water that was sitting on top of the paper, paints are bleeding, but quite nicely, just a tiny bit, not going everywhere too much and sitting in puddles. And I'm gonna dry that. You can see how nicely it looks now that it's dry. So on top, I'm adding one more layer, painting hearts. This time picked up again some violet, cleaned my brush in just clean water and went inside. So I do have borders, but inside I did not paint one even wash, but I do have some lighter and darker parts. I've dried it because I do want to paint the second heart touching the first one, but I don't want them to bleed one into each other. So I did dry the first heart. Second heart I'm painting with bronze. And doing the same thing, just cleaning my brush and then going inside to create some variety in color. This time picking up a little bit of the violet and a bit more of that bronze. I will do a couple of splatters with clean water on top just to create a nice textures. Dry it again, and when it was dry, I've also added lines, edges with ink pen, same ink pen, Etchr 08, quite thick one. And again, my lines are going outside, inside of the heart, and making it look a little bit looser. So doing the same thing for both hearts. And now I'm gonna do again a string letters. This time I will just write for the first one love, and for second one I will write in happy. Trying again to connect all the letters. And that's going to be the second one. I will add again some splatters with violet, quite saturated. You can see paint again, and I'm picking up with a towel a couple of them, making some little bit lighter splatters, and then also splattering a little bit of the bronze I also used previously. And now we're done with the second one. Moving on to the third one, last one in this video. This time I did not wet the paper with one wash, but I splattered some water, and then on top I'm splattering paint. Again, violet, pink, and turquoise. And where the water is, it will bleed a little bit, and where there is less water, those splatters will stay a little bit more well, I guess sharper. And I did have some puddles on top of the paper, so I've moved it with my towel, and then painting in some hearts. And I'm going also on top of the part that it's wet, and those edges of my hearts are bleeding in some parts, but I do like that. That's what I wanted, so that's the reason why I also did not dry my paper when I've added those splatters. So again, painting in some hearts, and you can use again any colors you like. You don't have to use same colors as I do. So my hearts are getting a little bit smaller, going downwards. And I'm not painting one even wash for the heart, but I'm just adding the edges, rinsing my brush, and then moving the paint just to create some variety in values, tones for my hearts. So, like that. And in some parts those edges are sharp, in some parts they are, well, I guess a little bit softened from the bleeds. Some bronze again from the Van Gogh set, here and there, just to add a tiny bit of the shine. Couple of splatters with that bronze, and I will dry that completely. Now I'm also adding edges for these hearts with the same ink pen. Gonna do that for all of my hearts, all 5 of them. And then I'm gonna connect them with one wiggly string, and also write in the text. Again, the same way, making it look like it's a string text, connecting all the letters. And this time I will write love you more and more each day. And that's the last card, also done. Well, quite simple. Actually, I will be adding a couple of more splatters. With the pink, actually violet, quite saturated again. And a couple of more splatters with bronze. And now I'm done also with the third card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and these 3 cards. I will be doing 3 more, so stay tuned for the next video. If you do like this video, please hit the like button, share it, and comment. If you haven't still, do subscribe to my channel. As I said, new videos coming up, next 3 cards, and also I do have many tutorials on my channel, so you might find also something for yourself. Well, I guess thank you so much again for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!